Hello everyone and welcome back to Aviation2Z. In our previous video, we have finished till 145A36. Now we will going to continue from 145A40. So let's get started. A40, which is about equipment, tools and materials. According to this, all the tools, equipments and materials should be as per the Dgca procedure, which is specified in the exposition of the organization. If in case equipment and tools are not permanently available, then you should have a detailed procedure in your exposition. So all the tools are to be controlled and calibrated according to the officially recognized standard and at a frequency to ensure serviceability and accuracy. Now a clearly identified and listed equipment, tools, materials should be in control register, including any personal tools and equipment that the organization agrees can be used. A register should be maintained for all precision tooling and equipment together with a record of calibration and standard used, because it is very much important to have a register so that the clear identification will be there for tools, equipments, and who issued and who are responsible for the tools to return. 145A42 Acceptance of component. Now what do you mean by acceptance of component? All the components are not suitable to be fitted on the aircraft. So there are categories according to which the components are segregated and to be used on aircraft. So components which are in satisfactory condition, released on a CA Form 1 or equivalent and marked in accordance with CR21 Part Q are to be fitted. The unserviceable components shall be maintained in accordance with the section. So unserviceable components are to be stored in another location. Then we have unserviceable components, which are classified according to 145A42D. This line, which I am highlighting now, is very much important. It is asked in Dgca question. So now what is standard parts? The standard parts used on aircraft, engine, propeller or other aircraft components are to be specified according to manufacturer's IPC and or maintenance data. This is also MCQ asked in Dgca. So this paragraph, the whole paragraph is very much important. Now prior to installation of component, the organization shall ensure that particular component is eligible to be fitted. As I previously said, that every component is not suitable for fitment on aircraft. The component which have reached their certified life limit or contain a non-repairable defect shall be classified as unsalvageable. So now you got the definition of unsalvageable component. Now this already I told according to CA Form 1. The CA Form 1 or equivalent identifies the status of an aircraft component which is specified in Block 12, which is remark on CA Form 1. Now there should be agreement by Dgca for the fabrication of parts. You have a acceptance of a parts to be fabricated by your organization. So you have to make an agreement with the Dgca. So fabrication, inspection, assembly and test should be clearly with the technical and procedural capability of the organization. If the organization is capable of manufacturing or fabricating some limited parts, then it is totally depend on its capability. All necessary data to fabricate the parts should be approved either by Dgca or the TC holder or STC holder. So this is very much important line, this pink highlighted line. The permission to fabricate does not constitute approval for manufacture or to supply externally, which means you cannot sell the manufactured parts which you are fabricating for yourself. So fabrication of parts, modification kits, etc. for onward supply and or sale may not be conducted by organization approved under CR145. Now, what are the parts to be fabricated? So, according to this, the fabrication of bushes, sleeves and shims, fabrication of secondary structure elements, skin panels, control cables, flexible and rigid pipes, electrical cables and sheets are to be manufactured. It is not acceptable to fabricate any item to pattern unless an EDG, which means engineering drawing of item, is produced. This line is also MCQ for your exam. Now a part number, the organization identity should be marked on the part of for the traceability purposes, which means you have to have identification marks on your components or you are manufacturing or fabricating. The following types of components should typically be classified as unserviceable. So you just go through all this data, which is AMC145A42D. Remember this, AMC145A42D, which can be a Dgca question. Now the very important 145A45, which is about the maintenance data. The organization shall hold and use applicable current maintenance data. What do you mean by the applicable? Means relevant to any aircraft component specified in the organization's approval class rating. Now there are 4 types of class rating, A, B, C, D, which we will see when we will see appendix. For the purpose of this CR, applicable maintenance data shall be, these 5 points can be your MCQ options. So you have to mark according to these options. So any applicable requirement, procedure, operational directive or information issued by Dgca, ATs issued by Dgca, instruction according to the TC, STC holder, any applicable standards such as but not limited to maintenance standard practices recognized by Dgca as good maintenance practices, which mean norms of the companies, and any applicable data issued in accordance with the paragraph D. Now the organization may only modify maintenance instruction in accordance with the procedure specified in maintenance organization exposition, which means for certain procedures you can also modify, but only those which is specified in MOE. The maintenance instruction for the purpose of this paragraph means instruction on how to carry out particular maintenance task, which means a checklist or the procedure sheet. Now the organization shall ensure that all applicable maintenance data is readily available for use when required by maintenance personnel. Now I am talking about the categories or rating. This is the rating: category A aircraft, category B engine APU, category C for component, and category D for specialized services. So you just go through this and I will be telling it in detail when we go through appendix. Now the mechanic to the quality personnel or propose modify maintenance instruction, which means a mechanic can propose a procedure practical demonstration to a quality personnel for modification, which means if you are modifying the procedure for landing gear change or wheel change, for example, then the technician must practically demonstrate the wheel change procedure which is modifying to the quality personnel. So that the quality personnel should approve the modified maintenance instruction and ensure that the TC or STC holder is informed. So while modifying, you also need to inform TC or STC holder. Now CD CCL items are not to be modified, which means the critical design configuration control limitations items are to be very much precisely handled and are not to be modified. Now all the maintenance data should be in close proximity to the aircraft being maintained. Now we 45 production planning. Now what do you mean by production planning? The planning according to which the maintenance task to be carried out, according to which the mechanics, the technicians, the supervisor will work, the shifts handover, and everything is related with the human performance limitations. So for the purpose of CR145, the production planning function includes 2 complementary elements: scheduling the maintenance work ahead and during maintenance work, organizing maintenance teams and shifts, and provide all necessary support. Now you also know that the circadian rhythm for any human is 24 hours. Now the primary objective of the changeover and handover information is to ensure effective communication at the point of handling over the continuation or completion of maintenance action. The effective task and shift handover depends on 3 basic elements. These 3 are very much important. This actually the production planning is something related with the human factors. So if you are good in human factor, you can understand easily. Now the performance of maintenance, how the maintenance is to be performed, and what is the performance of the personnel. So the organization establishes the procedures to ensure that the completion of maintenance or general verification is to be carried out. An error capturing method is implemented. A risk of multiple errors during maintenance and this should be minimized. The damage in assets and modification and repairs are carried out according to the data specified in MA304, which is about the CRM, which we will see when we will study CRM. How Authorized person is a person not formally authorized by a maintenance organization to perform or supervise a maintenance task. An authorized person is not necessarily a certifying staff, which means he can be a technician. And a sign-off is a statement issued by authorized person, which means he will sign off the task he has done. These are the procedures to ensure the flight safety. The procedure should describe which data sources are used to identify critical maintenance, and several data are given here. This can be asked in your Dgca examination as an MCQ. Now, error capturing methods are those defined by organization to detect maintenance errors made when performing maintenance. The organization should ensure that error capturing methods are adequate for the work and disturbance of the system. A combination of several actions, visual inspection, operational check, and functional test may be necessary in some cases. Independent inspection is an inspection performed by an independent qualified person or a task carried out by an authorized person. The authorized person is a person who performs a task or supervises a task, and they assume the full responsibility for the completion of task in accordance with the applicable maintenance data. The independent qualified person is a person who performs the independent inspection and attests the satisfactory completion of tasks that no deficiencies have been found. The independent qualified person does not issue a CRS, which is Certificate for Release to Service. Therefore, they are not required to hold certification privileges. The authorization person issue the Certificate of Release to Service or sign off the completion of task after the independent inspection, which means the independent qualified person will check all the work is completed, inspected, then the authorized person will again check the work he has done, and then he will issue the CRS. The organization should have a procedure to demonstrate that independent qualified person has been trained and have gained experience in inspection. So just go through all these conditions. Reinspection is an error capturing method and performed in unforeseen circumstances when one person is available to carry out the task and perform the independent inspection, and he will be issuing the CRS after double check and double inspecting the task. Now, to minimize the multiple errors and preventing omission, the procedure should specify every maintenance task is signed off after completion. The grouping of tasks for the purpose of sign off allows critical steps to be clearly identified. The work performed by personnel under supervision checked and signed off by authorized person. To minimize the risk of multiple errors or errors being repeated, the organization may implement procedures to plan the performance by different persons at the same task in different systems. Duplicate inspection or reinspection procedures should be detailedly explained to all the personnel. Now, certification of maintenance. All the maintenance that is carried out should be released to a service which is issued by appropriately authorized certifying staff on behalf of the organization when it has been verified that all maintenance order has been properly carried out according to the exposition. A certificate of release to service shall be issued before flight at the completion of any maintenance. New defects or incomplete maintenance work orders identified during the above maintenance shall be brought into the attendance of aircraft operator, and such defect or completing the missing elements of maintenance work order. A certificate of release to service shall be issued at the completion of any maintenance on a component while off the aircraft. So CA Form 1 should be not necessarily depending upon the organization. Now I want to explain you one thing, that CA Form 1 is not CRS, it is CCRS, which is Component Certificate of Release to Service, which means it is issued by workshop manager or workshop certifying staff only, and not by the certifying staff working on aircraft. So don't get confused between CA Form 1 and CRS, which is completely different. Now, by derogation from 145A42, when aircraft is grounded at location other than the main line station or main maintenance base due to non-availability of component with appropriate release certificate, a temporary fitment of components is allowed for 30 hours or until the aircraft first return to the main line station or main base station. For example, if Air India has a component which is missing, he needs a component, for example some LRU, so he will be contacting a Jet Airways for that component, and until Air India returns to its main base, which is in Bombay, so that he can fly till 30 hours. Now what do you mean by the endanger the flight safety? The endanger the flight safety means any instances where safe operation could not be assured or which could lead to unsafe conditions. This definition you must remember. Now just go through all these lines highlighted, the purpose and the rotatable tail. You will understand it. When an organization maintains a component for use by an organization, a CA-1 may not be necessary depending upon the organization's internal release procedure, which means if you are working in your organization itself, you have your workshop which releases a component which will issue CA-1, which is not actually a CA-1. According to internal release procedure, it may be another form which acts as a CA-1 for your company. Now CA-1 block 12 remarks contains following examples such tasks. You just go through this. Now maintenance and airworthiness record. So organization shall record all details of maintenance work carried out, including subcontractor release documents and issue of any airworthiness review certificate, which is ARC. The organization shall retain a copy of all detailed maintenance records and any associated maintenance data for 3 years from the date of aircraft or component to which the work relates was released from the organization. So, organization must preserve record for 3 years from the date. Remember, from the date, not after the component release. Now, the prime objective is to have secure and easily retrievable records with comprehensive and legible contents, which means to have a history of that component. It is very much important to have a record of all the maintenance tasks carried out and review as well. The reconstruction of lost or destroyed records can be done by the reference to other records. The reconstructed records should be submitted to Dgca for acceptance, which means Dgca will accept the reconstructed records, not approve. The paper system should be robust material, which means a material which cannot be get dirty, and a computer backup system should be there which can be updated at least within 24 hours of any maintenance to be carried out. The organization shall report to Dgca the state of registry and the organization responsible for design of the aircraft or component in any condition or aircraft component identified by the organization that resulted in an unsafe condition that hazards seriously the flight safety. When the organization is contracted by a commercial operator to carry out maintenance, the organization shall also report to the operator, which means during contract basis, the commercial operator should report to the operator. Now, organization shall produce and submit such report as soon as practicable, but in any case within 72 hours, not more than 72 hours. The aim of occurrence reporting is to identify the factor contributing to incident and to make the system more resistant to similar error. It should be free and frank and a closed loop, which means feedback is to be ensured. The organization shall establish a safety and quality policy for the organization to be included in the exposition under 145A70, which means every organization have a safety and quality policy according to the exposition. The organization shall establish a quality system that includes the following things: independent audits and quality feedback. So, SMS should be there, which will identify the hazards, assess the impact of the safety hazards, mitigate the risk, ensure remedial action, continuous monitoring, and continuous improvement. So remember, here it is written shall be approved by Dgca, but it is not there. So SMS is accepted by Dgca. Just go through CR section 1 and series C part 1, which I will teach when I will make a video on SMS. Now, safety and quality policy and maintenance procedure quality system should recognize safety as a prime consideration, apply human factor techniques, encourage personnel to report maintenance and compliance with procedures, and all personnel to cooperate with quality auditors. Now, as I told previously, primary objective of quality system are to enable the organization to ensure that it can deliver a safe product and organization remains in compliance with the requirement. An essential element of quality system is an independent audit. Now, its objective is to routine sample check of all aspects of organization ability to carry out maintenance. And compliance should be every 12 months and may be carried out as a single exercise or can be subdivided into a number of times in a 12-month period. Now just go through this line. To maintain aircraft, repair engines, brakes and autopilots would need to carry out 4 complete audit sample checks, which means you need to carry out 4 complete audit sample checks of all these components. The sample check of a product means to witness any relevant testing and visually inspect the product and associated documentation, which means you can practically assess the component and look out the documentation or manuals or logbooks entries which pilot or AME has done. Now what do you mean by large organization, medium sized organization, and you also know that the small organization and smallest organization. So just go through this. Smallest organization means 1 full-time person, small organization means 2 full-time person, 10 maintenance person, medium sized organization means up to 500 maintenance personnel, and large organization means more than 500 maintenance personnel, which mean many commercial airlines is a large organization. An essential element of quality system is a quality feedback system. Again, independent inspection and a quality feedback system is an essential element. The quality feedback system may not be contacted to outside person. This line is very much important. Now, all records pertaining to the independent quality audit and the quality feedback system should be retained for at least 2 years after the date of clearance of finding. 145A70, which is Maintenance Organization Exposition. The Maintenance Organization Exposition, which I will say is short formly in MOE, means the document or document that contain the material specifying the scope of work deemed to constitute approval and showing how the organization intend to comply with the CAR. Now all these points, 16 points, are very much important. The exposition shall be amended as necessary to remain up-to-date description of organization. The exposition and any subsequent amendment shall be approved by Dgca. The minor amendment to the exposition may be approved through an exposition procedure, which is indirect approval. The exposition shall refer to Safety Management System Manual, which means it must have an independent Safety Management System Manual. The exposition should contain information as applicable on how the maintenance organization complies with CDCCL items or instructions. The operator may use electronic data processing for publication of maintenance organization exposition, which means a computer generated PDF can also be used as an MOE. Now there are 9 different parts, including part 0, which is general organization, part 1 management. Just go through all the tick and remember it. It is a MCQ for you. Part 2 maintenance procedure. As you can see here, more maintenance procedure. You will get 2 types of maintenance procedure, which is one for base maintenance and another is for line maintenance. Quality system procedures, which tell about all the quality related things. Then we have part 4 and part 5 are reserved. Then part 6 is for operator maintenance procedure. Part 7 is for FAR supplementary procedure for FAR part 145 repair station, which means the content of this part reflects the difference between CR145 and FAR part 43/145, which is their maintenance.
Samurai sword on my back. You don't know how to act. Maybe you should relax. Maybe you should relapse. Just kidding. Stop. Woo. Woo. Stop.
of findings, which is level 1 finding and level 2 finding. Level 1 finding is any significant non-compliance with CAR145, which lowers the safety standard and hazards seriously the flight safety. And level 2 is possibly hazard. Possibly means level 2. This is the difference between level 1 and level 2. Now, any corrective action, plan and demonstrate corrective action to satisfactory of Dgca within a period agreed by Dgca means any action should be carried out to comply with and to solve the issues of finding as per the period agreed by the Dgca. That's it for today. An appendix is really easy and by reading twice you can remember it. So I decided not to teach or make a separate video on appendix. So just go through the appendix, and if any query you can comment below. Join the WhatsApp group for 145 questions and any notes related with 145. Link is in the description, and I am very much pleased to solve all the doubts of yours. Hit a like button and share this to your friends, and subscribe for more module related updates, and click on a bell icon to never miss my videos. And finally, thanks for watching.